What's in this box costs less than a tank of race fuel, and it's one of the most misunderstood performance parts on your motorcycle. Today I'm going to explain why this spark plug looks so different, how it actually works, and if it's a smarter choice over the NGK plugs most manufacturers recommend.
And I've been broken down and I can't feel my body. Angels trying to take me if I go, I'm sorry. That was all this beating is running. You just wanna play me like they do inside.
Bonjour! So if you saw the last video, we attempted a compression test on this engine before running into a little problem. We've since moved past that problem, but we found a few more parts that need upgrading. If this is your first video, my name is Sasha, the noise you hear is Desmo and Foggy, and I'm pretty new to riding motorcycles. I've recently joined the American Motorcycle Association, and I want to try my hands at some grassroots racing, in hopes to one day battling Bobby Fong for the Superbike Championship. But if I'm ever going to be able to afford that, I need to get my hands dirty and build this Panigale, essentially by myself, so welcome or welcome back. If you've spent any time around the paddock, you've probably heard people talking about the Brisk racing spark plugs. Some people swear by them, but others stick to the tried and true NGK most OEMs specify from the factory. Today I'm going to explain what makes Brisk racing spark plugs different, why I intend to use them, and if they're a worthwhile upgrade for a bike that's essentially going to be spending its lifetime on the racetrack. But your bike probably isn't disassembled like this. So you could watch the last episode, but for those of you that won't, I'll put some footage in and talk nerd stuff over the disassembly process. Before comparing brands, it's worth understanding what a spark plug actually does. Its job sounds simple: ignite the air-fuel mixture at exactly the right time. But once cylinder pressures climb, compression ratios increase, and RPM approaches 12,000, creating a reliable spark becomes much more challenging, and a little thing called detonation enters the chat. On a race engine, consistency matters just as much as outright spark energy. The Ducati 899 Panigale uses a high compression Super Quadro engine. It runs high cylinder pressures, aggressive ignition timing, and very high piston speeds. Factory NGK plugs are excellent. They're reliable, durable, and designed to perform over thousands of street miles. But racing has different priorities. In racing, we care less about getting 20,000 miles from a spark plug and more about the maximum combustion efficiency during a race weekend. So what makes Brisk different? Their philosophy focuses on reducing anything that interferes with the spark. Many Brisk racing plugs use a very open electrode design, sometimes with multiple ground electrodes positioned away from the center of the spark path, or specialized surface discharge style designs depending on the model. The goal is to expose the spark kernel to the air-fuel mixture instead of partially shielding it behind a conventional ground strap, kind of like this one. In theory, that allows the flame front to begin more freely and consistently. When ignition begins, the tiny flame kernel has to grow into a full combustion event. Anything that cools that kernel or physically blocks it can reduce that combustion efficiency, kind of like this. Traditional plugs have a ground strap over the center electrode. In this case, we have two. It's an extremely effective, durable design, but it blocks the flame a little bit. Meanwhile, this design doesn't have an obstruction. They also require less voltage, so as your motorcycle gets hot, your spark stays the same. None of this means NGK is bad. In fact, this is what they use for almost all bikes. In MotoGP, World Superbike, you name it, this is the gold standard. But I want to try something different. Enough yapping, let's get these things in the bike. Now, if you've never done spark plugs on a Ducati before, as everything Ducati, it's a little bit different. So you'll need this spark plug tool. It's a bit smaller than your regular tools, but it'll be linked in the description below. And it's magnetic, so it just holds your spark plug in there. But first, let's get the other spark plugs out of here. So first thing you want to do is remove this boot, and then you're going to get this tool in there. You see the spark plug? Get it all the way in there. I need a longer extension. Once you've got your longer extension, you slide that all the way in there, and you just remove your spark plug. I know I've mentioned this wrench in my last video, but it will be linked in the description. It's, as you see, very easy to turn when you don't have much space. Let's see. Nope. A little more. Aha. And now the spark plug is out. NGK. Gone with NGK, in with Brisk. But before we do that, let's see what our spark plugs is telling us about our engine health. So overall, this looks pretty good. It's a bit dark, but what you don't want to see is some chalky white color. And what does concern me is there is some oil in the threads, which could be telling me I need a new valve cover gasket and a new O-ring. But thanks to my boys at Repardo, I have that already. So our spark plug has spoken to us, and we'd be foolish to just put in a new spark plug without changing out the valve cover gasket. So we're going to do that before changing the spark plugs, and what you need to do is remove this little plastic piece here, and how you do that is you get a 4mm Allen key, you remove the 2 bolts that are right here, and then there's a little tab on the inside, somewhere in here, that you just pull it forward and it'll pop out. So first I'm going to do that. So once those bolts are out, there's a little tab right here. You just pull this forward, wiggle it a little bit, and there you go. This is a little tab. Now just put this somewhere safe, and you see that you've revealed one of the bolts that have to come out for this gasket. Now you just have to do the same thing on the other side. And the front bolt is a little bit tricky because it's a little stuck right under the frame here. So it's not as easy to take out, but if you wiggle it a bit, it'll come out. So next we have 5 bolts in here. 4 on each side and 1 in the middle. They are T30s. So you will need some little short neck stubbies because especially this one in here, this won't fit. So I'm gonna go under here to loosen it. And we're just gonna loosen them all for now, and I'll see you in a second. So next we'll remove this clamp, which if you don't have the correct tool, I just use a flathead, and then we'll free this hose right here with a flathead as well. We probably should have done this first, but it's okay. I feel the whole thing coming up. There we go. And this comes out. The service manual says you should take off the rear subframe, but I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna figure it out.
You sure about that? You sure about that?
So I'm giving this one more try before I take off the subframe. Is taking this plastic off because I think this tab is in the way more than anything else. So just taking a few screws out here and here, and okay, that should be good actually. No subframe removal.
You sure about that?
So everything in here looks really clean, well taken care of. So this gasket looks like it's in pretty good condition, but we're going to change it anyways, and this gasket right here. Well, this ring and this gasket. So yeah, let's do it. So this is the old one, and this is the new one. Make sure they're exactly the same size and everything. I'm gonna lubricate the new one a little bit and put it back in, or put it in. Like this. Perfect. Now for the valve cover gasket. So you'll see on these little 90 degrees here, There's some RTV sealant, so we'll make sure to add some on there as well. And just make sure when you remove it, you see exactly which direction it's been on there. And, oh, that's a bit stuck. There we go. 1 and 2. Perfect. Now I'm gonna clean everything, get rid of the old RTV sealant here, and prepare for the new gasket to seat on here. Okay, so next I will take my Honda Bond and apply on all the sharp edges. So a bit here, here, and same thing on this side. I'm gonna use this knife just so it's easier to spread around a little bit. You just want a thin layer. I feel like that's too much. Okay, that should be good. And on this side, okay, that should be good. Yeah, I didn't feel good about how that was seating, so I'm just taking the whole subframe off. It's just for bolts. It's really stupid. Oh, the wires are holding it all together now. Yeah, no, these, it's not coming off. So that was a pain, but I got the cover back on and the new gasket is in there. So now the way you want to tighten these is in a star pattern, and you want to tighten them to 10 Newton meters, but you don't want to tighten one to 10 Newton meters and then go to the other one. You want to tighten each one little by little until you hit the 10 Newton meter mark. So I'm just gonna do like that. Until it's tight all the way to 10 Newton meters. So basically why we do this is you don't want to tighten the gasket all the way down on one side and kink it or just something to happen to it. You want it to all seat down pretty evenly. Okay, so that was a lot more work than I thought, but we got the valve covers, gaskets back on, and the cover back on, and I took off my heat shield here because I think I want to make something titanium. We'll see, but that heat shield was ugly and it really wasn't doing anything. So now we can put the Brisk spark plugs in, finally. And I'm just gonna put it in and hand tighten it a little bit. And then we're gonna tighten it to 12 Newton meters. Okay, there we go. It's tightened to 12 Newton meters, and that is finally in there. And now we're gonna do the front. Hopefully it's not as bad. I don't think it will be, but let's do it. So there's these two bolts here, which looks like it's just like a harness clamp. We'll see, but they're 3mm Allen keys. So I'm gonna start by taking these two out.
Okay, start on the other one.
Now you just pull on these and they come right off. But I think I have to take these bolts off the side so I can move this out the way. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's like some harness that holds everything together. Yeah, I'm gonna take these out. And those look like 4 or 5 mils. So next we'll take this 9mm socket and remove these 4 bolts off the cover. Okay, so we got these 4 bolts loose. Next, we're gonna remove this little boot where the spark plug is seated. Now I'm gonna loosen this center bolt. So now that all of the bolts are out, I put a paper towel here because oil is certainly going to leak. So now I'm gonna pull this off. There we go. Clean. Okay, so it looks exactly the same, except it's at a different angle, and now the parts that need the RTV are on the other side. So first I'm just gonna clean it up and put that Honda bond back on and replace the seal. So I put some Honda bond on those edges, and while that sets, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the spark plug out. Right? Yeah. So the new Brisk racing plug is already in there, and now we're essentially going to repeat what we did up top. Okay, so everything's back on, put together for the most part. Talked everything to spec, and I know you guys might want to hear this bike start, but that's going to have to wait till a later video because I have a bit more work to do on this bike before I put it back together. And so make sure you like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notifications just so you don't miss my next video and the start and see how these spark plugs do. So yeah, I think next we'll be doing something to the coolant system, but we will not be using conventional coolant. So if you're interested, make sure to tune in next week. And yeah, let me know if I messed anything up in the comments. До свидания!
I've been feeling